Welcome to our Paris Literary Walking Tour. Join us as we follow the footsteps of literary greats like James Joyce, Ernest Hemingway, and the like through the left bank's charming neighborhood.
We'll be heading to the cafes, the places where these famous artists worked, and visit just a beautiful part of the Parisian culture. So grab a café au lait and let's take a walk through the left bank.
First, we start at the iconic Shakespeare and Company English bookstore. This cozy little shop on the Seine has become a literary landmark. Founded in 1951 by George Whitman, it carries the torch of Sylvia Beach's original Shakespeare and Company, a haven for expat writers like Hemingway, Joyce, and Fitzgerald. Photos are now forbidden in this writer's sanctuary, so I've included older snapshots that I took of the crooked shelves, community piano, and hidden reading rooms. Don't forget to get your book stamped at the counter before you leave.
Right next door is this peaceful square, René Viviani, the perfect reading spot with a front row view of Notre Dame. Writers have long come here to scribble in notebooks or simply daydream beneath Paris's oldest tree, which has stood here since 1601. It's a quiet moment in a city full of inspiration.
Our next stop, Hemingway's first Paris apartment at 74 Rue de Cardinal Lemoine. This is where young Ernest Hemingway lived in 1922 with his wife Hadley, flat broke, full of ideas, and falling in love with Paris. There's a small plaque here now, but back then it was just another walk-up. He'd carry notebooks and baguettes through these streets, turning everyday life into prose that would change modern literature.
Just around the corner is Place de la Contrescarpe, a charming square that pops up in A Movable Feast. It's where Hemingway wrote, watched the world go by, and probably had a glass or two of wine. Grab a seat at Café Del Mar, order a café crème, and imagine the conversations that once happened here.
The narrow Rue Mouffetard Market Street is one of the oldest in Paris and a favorite of Hemingway's. He wrote about the food, the vendors, and the joy of finding cheap, delicious things when you're young and hungry. Even today, you'll find fresh produce, cheese, and maybe even a little inspiration of your own.
Towering above the Latin Quarter, the Pantheon is the final resting place of France's literary giants: Victor Hugo, Voltaire, Rousseau, Émile Zola, and Alexandre Dumas. It's more than a monument. It is a who's who of revolutionary thinkers and powerful pens. Step inside for a quiet moment among greatness.
Next up is La Closerie de Lille. This historic cafe was Hemingway's favorite writing spot, and it still oozes old Paris charm. He drafted chapters of The Sun Also Rises here, maybe while sipping something strong. Today, brass nameplates honor the writers who once called this their corner office. Settle in for a memorable lunch and toast to the lost generation.
Behind this unassuming door at 27 Rue de Fleurus was one of the most important living rooms in modern art and literature. Gertrude Stein hosted Saturday night salons here, where she mentored Hemingway, supported Picasso, and helped shape a movement. You cannot go in, but just standing here is like touching the edge of a creative explosion.
A literary oasis in the heart of the left bank, the Jardin de Luxembourg has long been a favorite escape for writers, artists, and dreamers. James Joyce is said to have wandered these tree-lined alleys while working on Ulysses, and Victor Hugo wrote about the gardens in Les Miserables. With its grand fountains, shaded benches, and elegant flower beds, it's a place that invites reflection and imagination. You'll still find students lounging by the fountains today. It's a beautiful pause in the city, a chapter of calm in the story of Paris.
And finally, we arrive at the epicenter of Parisian intellectual life. Sartre, de Beauvoir, Camus, and Hemingway all debated, wrote, and caffeinated at these legendary cafes. Whether you choose Café de Flore or Les Deux Magots, the history is rich and the espresso is strong. It's the perfect spot to wrap up our walk. But If you're up for a quick metro ride, let's keep the story going at the legendary Père Lachaise Cemetery, final home to some of literature's brightest stars. We're at Père Lachaise Cemetery, which is gibungous by any measure, and it's filled with famous people. And so we have toured around and we're looking for all the authors. It has been quite a day and perfect weather, thank goodness. I think we turn right here at the traffic circle.
Thankfully, there's road signs, street signs, because you need them, because it's a city of dead people.
Yes, this is a lot of dead people live here, as they say. And we're going to see George Seurat next.
We spent 2 magical hours wandering through the storied paths of Père Lachaise. With a detailed map in hand, we traced the resting places of literary and artistic legends. Oscar Wilde, whose tomb is now shielded behind plexiglass to protect it from the lipstick kisses of adoring fans. Marcel Proust, who captured memory in prose. Colette, the bold voice of French feminism. And Gertrude Stein, a guiding light of the lost generation. Around every turn, we found the graves of composers, playwrights, and performers.
One of the great things about visiting a cemetery like Père Lachaise, where we are right now, is you run into famous people. Apollinaire, the poet. And I remember many years ago hearing a poem, and I actually have it here. I'm going to read it because I didn't quite have it memorized. "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't, we're afraid," they responded. "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't, we will fall," they responded. "Come to the edge," he said. And so they came, and he pushed them, and they flew. And that's a wrap on our literary walk through Paris on a sunny day.
And if you're a book lover, this is just a wonderful stroll through Paris, which just oozes charm. So you get to check out all the old haunts of literary greats, such as Ernest Hemingway, Gertrude Stein, James Joyce, and we had a real fun day. And I think the most fun we had is experiencing new neighborhoods that we haven't been to before.
But we learned that this is where some of these artists and authors hung out and did some of their best work, perhaps, with a drink by their side. It was just great. So check out the restaurants in the neighborhoods and follow a little history around. We just had a great day. Weather doesn't hurt. So thanks for watching Wanderlust with the Mackenzies. Tell your friends.
And happy travels.